I'm showing you absolutely everything you need to know about using Latite Client V2 right over here. If you want the link to actually download and install this, then I will put that down in the description below. Anyways, let's get right in. So you will already get a notification when first launching up the client, but you can press on the button M on your keyboard. That's going to open up this area right here. You can then click on the mod settings button, and that is going to open up Latite Client's Quick GUI. Here you will find all of the utilities that this client has. You can click on this little switch right over here to turn the specific utility on, and then click on it once again to turn them off. You have a search bar over here in which you can search for specific things, and you can actually press on these just like this, and that'll give you a drop down customization menu. As you can see, all of these have a customization menu. However, they're all unique for these specific utilities. Now, some of these utilities are actually going to be things that show up on your screen. For example, the clock, or maybe the FPS counter, which is somewhere here. There it is. That's going to count my FPS, right? If I now go out of here, as you can see, I have a clock and an FPS counter on my screen. However, they're kind of randomly located. Pressing on M again will bring up this area right over here where, of course, we can go into the mod settings, but here we can actually also drag around these utilities. And you can use your scroll wheel of your mouse on them to increase or decrease their size, as you can see, and you can drag them to wherever you like. A great thing that I love about Latite is that they actually have snapping turned on. As you can see, it'll snap to a bunch of different points on your screen, including the edges, as you can see, just like that, which is of course wonderful. And as I said, I can move these to anywhere. I want to keep the clock up here, but I'll move my FPS counter all the way down there to the bottom, for example. Going into this mod settings area here once again, pressing on this button over here will once again also open up the HUD editor. You can right click on the elements in the HUD editor, and that'll automatically bring up their customization menus. As for the customization menus, in here you can customize the entire way that the elements look. As you can see, I can change its location through here, as well as the text color, background color, outline, and the great thing that I love about this is the fact that you'll get a live preview over here of what this is going to look like if I edit how it looks. As you can see, that is of course completely wonderful. Now, another thing that these customization menus have is the ability to set keybinds. I will take a look at the free look, for example. By default, this has been bound to the F key, meaning that I can press on F and it is going to free look. Now, there are only a few things in this client that have default keybinds. For example, also the zoom. As you can see, the default keybind of the zoom is C. So I can press on C in game, and as you can see, it's going to zoom in, just like that. So that's great, but what if you want to change the keybind? Well, you can open up the mod settings once again, go over to zoom, and then simply click on the C, and then on any key you want. Maybe you want to bind it to L. And now, as you can see, it's been bound to L. You can right click on that, and now as you can see, there's been by default set no key to the zoom. Anyways, I'll set this back to C, just like that. And almost all of the utilities that this client has, as you can see, allow you to set a keybind. So if there's things that you use very often, then you can set their keybinds through the customization menus. If you mess with settings and you're not sure how to put it back, then you can simply click on the reset button over here, and now everything will be reset to default. Anyways, I'm going to turn this back on. And as you can see, by default, the zoom doesn't have an animation. If you like using the zoom, just like me, then I recommend that you tick this animation part, and you can change the speed to whatever you like, but I'll keep it to default for right now. What the animation does is it makes sure that you have a nice dampening effect when you use the zoom, which I personally love. Anyways, back in the mod menu, you can sort these utilities by two different types. Game utilities, like zoom and free look, as you can see, and HUD utilities. The HUD utilities are all the things that are going to be showing up on your screen and that you can edit through this HUD editor. Anyways, back in the mod settings area, there's also actually a plugins option. Some people asked me about this in my latest video on this client, and for right now there aren't many significant plugins, but you can find more information about that in the Latite Client's Discord server. If there are ever plugins that I believe are worth showing, then I will make a video on that. Anyways, for right now, I can just go back to the default sorting of all. Moving on, there's also a settings cog right up here, and you can use that to change this client's settings. As you can see, you can tweak some of the general ways that this client looks, but you can also change the menu key and the eject key. So the menu key is a key that you use to open up this menu over here. By default, it's been set by M, but you can change that to anything you like. And by default, end is the eject key. So if you're playing Minecraft and you want to remove Latite Client from your game, you can press on the end key on your keyboard. If you want to change that, once again, you can do that through here. Anyways, believe it or not, that isn't even all about this client. You can open up the chat and then actually type in .help, just like this. And that'll give you a list of all of Latite Client's commands, because, yep, that's right, Latite Client also has commands. So similar to how in default Minecraft you would type the slash and then, for example, give to give yourself an item, you use the slash as the prefix. For Latite Client, instead of the slash, you use the dot to prefix the commands. As you can see, there is also a set prefix command, so you can change the dot to anything you want if you do wish to do so. Anyways, as you can see, Latite Client's commands are limited, but they can still help you do a bunch of things. If you're confused about them, then simply, as I did, type in .help. You'll get a list of all the commands, as well as what they do. If you're still not sure how to use the commands, I'll take .config as an example. I can simply type .config in chat, just like this, and it'll tell me the exact usage or usages that this command has. Anyways, for right now, that was basically that. And if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, because that helps out a lot. Anyways, for right now, thank you ever so much for watching, and I do hope to see you again in the next one. Bye-bye.